were scattered around Monterey Bay, the largest of which was built just a half a mile from this spot where we're standing. Soon after the San Francisco earthquake and the Great Fire of 1906, another fire broke out here in one Chinese shantytown on China Point, and the entire community was reduced to a pile of ashes. They never found out how the fire started, but those tough Chinese built again, this time on Maccabee Beach, only a few yards from where we're standing. And how all of Cannery Row grew. The silver sardine rush was on. Fishing fleets doubled and doubled as new fishermen came from Europe and Asia for the silver, and new canneries sprang to life on the narrow street. That's when I loved Cannery Row the most. In the 30s and 40s, during its heyday. Believe me, old
You haven't seen old Doc and the boys around, have you? Doc's the local marine biologist in these parts, and when he's not busy with ecological projects, he's usually chasing someone around with a frog. Well, if you see him, tell him John Steinbeck said hello.
Us. We're just a couple paisanos relaxing a bit on the hillside. What's that? Don't know about the paisanos, huh? Well, have you ever heard of the author John Steinbeck? Oh, yeah? Good. Well, back in 1935, Steinbeck wrote a charming story with the title of Tortilla Flat about the paisanos of Monterey. Actually, a story about the Knights of the Round Table. The heroes were the local Huaynos of mixed ethnic descent. That story was followed 10 years later by another story of Monterey about a band of down and outers on Old Cannery Road. You know about Old Cannery Road, don't you? Well, I'm sure that lady foreman over there would be happy to tell you all about it. Now, excuse me while I take a nap.
Created a boom industry to feed a world at war and then America in the Great Depression. However, because of such a booming fishing industry, it led to the disappearance of the sardines like the 1950s. Boom would go to bust on a stream with over 20 sardine factories, fish meal, and fertilizer plants. But those were the days. Fishermen backing ladies on Cannery Row. And so, quitting on the job.
He had the hands of a brain surgeon and a heart of gold, though some said that as soon as he got a girl out of one kind of trouble, he'd get her into another. And there, sitting on Doc's porch, is his young friend Frankie. He helps Doc clean up the place. Could be also his mother doesn't want him in the house, while she entertains one of his uncles.
So there's the whorehouse? There we go.
Hi there, honey. So what do I owe the pleasure? Just looking around, huh? You know who I am, don't you? Well, I'm Flora, the magnanimous madam of the Bear Flag Restaurant, an exceptional businesswoman. I've always said, a dame who knows the ropes is less likely to get tied up. I'm also a generous and philanthropic woman, helping poor families all over town. It's been said that I've helped finance many struggling cannery owners over the years. So, anytime you got nothing to do and lots of time to do it, come on over and see me.
Cannery Row had its own kind of nightlife, much of which wouldn't be allowed or even understood today. At the La Ida Cafe down the street, Wide Ida provided comfort and relaxation for her customers, at the bar and in the rooms upstairs. And without fail, she'd constantly trip over that one jug behind the bar, the one that Eddie, the part-time bartender, would fill with whatever was left over from the customers' glasses. At the end of his shift, he'd take that concoction back to his pals at the Palace Flop House. They called it Old Tennis Shoe, and it became famous.
Doc and the boys, I'm Wide Ida, and I can pretty much get you anything you're looking for. We got strong drinks down here, and a little something extra upstairs. Woo! Go ahead, have a seat. Doc and the boys love making new friends.
And some of those men were the friends I loved and wrote about. Living in a home where the smells of old socks, raw whiskey, and cheap tobacco fought to overcome the always present perfume of fish meal. Old Mac was as mean as a cornered alley cat. But just when you thought he was going to cut your throat, he'd turn around and give you the shirt off his back. He's the one with the pipe, playing chess with Eddie. And there's Whitey on the floor, wondering just what was in that last jug of old tennis shoe. And out front, there's Hazel. You know, some say that Hazel got his strange name from his mother, who was just too plumb tuckered to check him out when he came into this world. Hazel's guarding a sack of frogs that they all collected in the great frog hunt. They were going to sell them to Doc, who was always in need of frogs. Well, didn't quite work out that way. Why, there were frogs all over Cannery Row that night. Well, folks, that's just part of the Cannery Row story, and just a few of its colorful characters. You know, I lived in that special place, and I loved it.